Greetings in the name of the Lord Jesus the Christ. So I spoke with you all about Russia yesterday. Mind you, those clips in my stories are gone. Now, the President of the United States of America, Mr. Joseph R. Biden, said that we are not going to have troops on the ground, but they are going to put sanctions on Russia. Russia said that's a weak statement. Let me remind you that the President of China explained months ago, while having a military parade and dressed in classic communist outfits, he explained publicly that he will stand with Russia against any nation when it comes to war. So when the President of the United States of America says, oh no, we're going to just put sanctions, when they had the meeting the other day, Russia said that was a very weak statement. And he's correct, a very weak statement. Mind you, God himself is giving the United States of America into the hands of Russia and China and our enemies. No one's going to help us. And the reason is because sin. People don't understand what sin is. For example, I'm going to give another example that Celestial from the Master's Voice gave today, because it was a very good example. You have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then you have been fornicating, but you become a Christian, so you marry her. And you've been married and you've been living a life that you believe is holy. But you never did ask God to forgive you for the fact that before you got married, you were fornicating, because you think, well, we got married, so that makes it right. It's going to still be on your account, and you think it's a past sin, but it's going to still be on your account because you never confessed and said that you were wrong for what you were doing. So you can correct your behavior, but if you don't confess, your sin is not forgiven. And you can confess your sin, but if you don't stop, it's not forgiven. So we can't just keep saying forgive, 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 and then don't stop. And we can't just stop and fix it and then never confess that we were wrong in the first place. So that's just a small example. He says if you have hatred in your heart, then you are a murderer. So you can't think to yourself that you are better than someone who murders, because you have pride and you have hatred in your heart. So the Bible says that that's murder. You can't masturbate and then think that, well, abortion has nothing to do with me. You abort babies every time you masturbate. So that's just an example of how God's ways are higher than our ways. I'm preaching to myself, I'm preaching to you. The word of God applies to all of us. So after the President of the United States said that they're going to just give sanctions to Russia, some idiot senator, and I don't know what's being said behind closed doors, where they say one thing in public and then something else behind closed doors. I don't know if it's because people want to, in their pride, be boastful and act as if we are such a powerful nation, when it's a fact scientifically that Russia's armies and militaries are more powerful than ours alone. Never mind the fact that they are working with India. They are working with China. The most capable nuclear powers in the world are against us. Some people are not going to necessarily engage in war. I mean, they don't have that much of a problem with America. They kind of hate us because we lie. We, pretend like we're the good guys, but we do so much evil. We bombed ourselves at Pearl Harbor just to have an excuse to come against Japan, and we lied and blamed Japan. And then dropped a nuclear bomb and killed all those innocent people, and you thought that God was going to let that go when he said, no, you're not, that 1,000 years is as a day, and a day is as 1,000 years. So you thought because that was what? In the 50s or the 60s or whenever that happened, that was like in God's time. It was like a couple of minutes ago, and it's like you just bombed. It's like you just bombed them a couple of minutes ago. You just committed slavery and enslaved people like an hour ago. In God, it's like, think of it that way. See, because you think of it as being so long ago. And then the sad thing is, you think of it as being long ago, but you never say, wow, he never really did judge the United States. Like, They killed and murdered and threw people off of slave ships and did all kinds of stuff. And it's like they made laws and changed laws, but that's because black people had to fight and die and continue to fight and die all the way up into the 60s. And then somebody who really knows and wants me to tell the whole truth is like, no, tell the whole truth, Jerome, because they was lynching people in New York City when I was living there. In the 2002, there was stories about a boy who was lynched in an area where they know that there's racists over the Verrazano Bridge. Don't play with me on today. I've been to an Italian restaurant and saw that they refused to sit us, and I thought, oh, it's because we're gay. And they would only talk to my friend's boyfriend who was Dominican, but he's a whiter skinned Dominican and he could pass for Italian. And I guess they knew him because he had been in there with his friend who is Italian and her husband's like Puerto Rican. And so they, I guess because their skin is white and they look Italianish and the girl is like Italian. I think she's from wherever. So I guess that's how he knew about the restaurant. I don't know, but it wasn't because we was gay. It's because we was niggas. And in my spirit, even back then, as soon as we started approaching the bridge and I saw the sign that said Verrazano, I normally don't pay attention when people are driving because you're my chauffeur. I don't know how to drive. But I looked at the sign that said Verrazano Bridge. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of this. He was like, oh, you never heard of Verrazano Bridge? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, you never been in this part of New York? I was like, And then the car gets quiet and nobody had nothing to say. Because, see, people think Jerome is stupid, but then when I start catching on to stuff in the spirit, all of a sudden people want to get quiet. No, don't get quiet because something in me, even as much weed as I was smoking and as sinful as I was, I thought, okay, hold on. I'm going over this bridge and something. And I say, well, Jerome, you be paranoid. You just don't like bridges. This bridge is not going over no water. Calm down. The bridge ain't going to collapse, Jerome. Stop what you're doing. And that's what I told myself. Just like I told myself that they wouldn't sit us down because it is that we were gay. No, it's because of being black. Later, when speaking with a family friend who I call cousin, who is from New York City, born and raised, who went to predominantly white school, who comes from an upper class family, he could explain to me clearly, oh, you should have never gone over there. Of course, that's nothing but Italian people. The police and everybody over there is Italian. And yes, the mafia is still alive and operating. People keep trying to act like they don't exist anymore. They very much exist, especially in that part of New York. He said, you didn't see the story in the newspaper about the boy that they lynched, they found him dead. And he told me the whole story about the black guy that was dead. So when you want to talk about racism being over, don't play with me. I was in New Jersey when they tried to arrest me, and I told them, when my grandmother's brother hears about this, you guys are going to be so sorry because Uncle Clarence is going to have a field day. I hope you like your job. I hope you're ready to retire because you're not going to have a job. I said, oh, you think you're not going to have a job? when Uncle Clarence says about this, they didn't catch on and they asked for my ID and I gave them my ID and they ran my social security number and saw that me as a black boy and his, what was I, maybe 18 years old, no record. No record. Oh, you thought we all, I don't have no record, boo. And what does that say? Jerome Thomas. What does that say? Washington, D.C. Then all of a sudden, ding. I said, yes, Jerome Thomas, son of Jerome Ira Thomas Jr., grandson of Louise B. Thomas. And like I said, when Uncle Clarence Thomas hears about this, they got a little bit nervous. The guy who runs the ballet camp looked at me like, Jerome, okay, now I knew that she was a dancer, but I didn't know you was that good of an actor, but cut the crap. Because Clarence Thomas is not your grandmother's brother. So I'm supposed to believe that just because you black and he black and you got the same name, you related. Stop it. But they believed it. Why? Because people are stupid. And so since you are racist and all us niggas are the same, I'm going to use my last name to my... He said, oh, don't worry, I'll handle this. And the police got out of my face. And I learned then something that my grandmother always told me. It's not what you know, it's who you know. All because some lady at the store told me, all the Mikes was there, me, Michael Crawford, Michael Houston wasn't there. He came to Pennsylvania Ballet years later. If I remember correctly, Crawford was there. Me, Michael Crawford, I believe, was there. Another guy, I want to say Leland, because he went and was like doing teaching up in Harlem. And it became kind of, he's doing some great things in the dance world up in New York City. But before he even came to Dance City Harlem and stuff like that, I believe I met him at Rock School, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say I met Leland there. I think he ended up going to School of American Ballet. I don't know. But I want to say that he was there that summer, if I'm not mistaken. And there was another Michael who we called him Chris because we had like 2 or 3 Michaels And we called one of them Chris because he was from Chicago. He started dancing for Joffrey Ballet and all of that. And the lady who ran the store had the police come to try to arrest me, saying that I had done all these things that I did not do. And so I sent 2 ballerinas. I saw them. I said, let me see. Yes, skinny, beautiful. These are real blondes. They got their hair out. It's not in a bun. They got their hair out. And it's giving you waist length. And you see that's blonde to the root. You see them eyebrows is blonde. Them eyelashes is blonde. I said, well, she got green eyes, but they bright. And she got blue eyes. I need y'all to do me a favor. And I sent them. And they went and stirred up a little bit of ruckus just to see what the woman would do. And she said, John, we really didn't believe you, but you were right. And they explained to me, how they misbehaved. And the woman said nothing to them except when she went to go buy gum. I have a good memory. She went to go buy gum. And they said, I saw you talking to those people. You're part of the problem. One was from Florida. I think the other one was from Texas. I said, perfect. I need me 2 beautiful blonde girls to do me a favor. So, don't tell me that it was so long ago. And see, that's the problem, because when it comes to sin, you want to keep saying, oh, see, that was so long ago. And you keep saying, well, I'm not a sinner like how they were a sinner. And that's why. Because 1,000 years is a day, and a day is 1,000 years. And so God is punishing us. And the part of his punishment is he is turning us over to our enemies, such as Russia. Call forth the archers. I didn't want to say it. Call for the archers against Babylon. Chiquiriaso. So here we are. Some idiot senator had the audacity to say that nuclear options is not off the table. Russia is not taking any threats. That's a direct threat. China already told you, don't even come for Taiwan. They've let you know what they're going to do. Russia's already putting their troops on the border of Ukraine. They're taking Ukraine. They're taking Belarus. And they told you, jump out there if you want to. And it's war, period, because we don't give a damn, period. But you thought it was a game and had the audacity to get on Fox News because you want to show off for these Republicans. You want to show off for these damned Republicans talking about the nuclear option isn't off the table. You're going to die. Vladimir Putin is not playing with you, and God is not on the side of the United States of America. You have spies everywhere. When I watched the streaming service show, that little blonde girl at the School of American Ballet whose father is a Russian hockey player, and they started explaining how he went to Russia to go find a wife. Who gives a damn? Why even explain that? You're supposed to be doing a documentary about the ballet school. But everything happens for a reason, and I said to myself, okay, I see what this is. Because while you talking crap, you got people who have been over here for generations. Russian Jews who left and went to Germany, and then came to America, so-called running from Hitler. And then we invited them here, and they obeyed the laws. They raised their children got degrees, their children got married. Their children's children got degrees. They celebrate the 4th of July. They don't have any accent because they've been in America for generations. But in private, they've been plotting. I'm going to say that again. You can tweet that. You can hashtag that. You can steal that and preach that on Sunday. They've been plotting in private. You want to keep going to these Chinese carryouts. You don't know what kind of bomb-making materials they've got in these Chinese carryout basements. But they come over here and they have nice homes and they celebrate. They love the beach. They like to go shopping and live the American dream. And everyone's kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Like it's a game. And when the time comes and when the orders from their leaders come, because they've been maintaining their connections with their homeland, sending money home, going back to visit, and they've been waiting patiently, quietly. See, some people don't do a lot of talking. Some people are introverts and they don't do a lot of talking, but they plot and they plan in private and they wait, because timing is everything. And so while the Americans are on TV running their mouth, you don't even have any idea that your enemies are here. And I'm not even talking about the actual foreign nationalists who are actual active spies. I'm talking about the regular people that you see in church, that you see in school, that you see in work, that you see every single day, who you have no idea who they may be connected to, because their connections go back generations. And they take orders from their father, who take orders from the grandfather, who's taking orders from a friend, who's taking orders from somebody else back home in their countries, who's taking orders from somebody else, who could be a school teacher married to a government person somewhere in Russia and China and somewhere else, but you're too stupid to even realize you don't have the God-given brain to run anything. You should thank God that people like me don't have the education and did not get into politics, because I would have probably been one of the worst dictators ever, because you people are idiots. One thing I've learned is all you got to do is shut up. I'm a very talkative person. Trust and believe my silence is far more dangerous than my talking. But yet people get so upset, oh, he's too loud, he talks too much. You better thank God I'm talking. Because you might halfway be able to get something done. You might halfway be able to try and plot something because of the fact I talk too much. But guess what? I don't ever say everything. You will never know everything. I'm giving you a clue today into how this mind works, because y'all seem to be idiots. But no surprise, because you elected Donald Trump, who ran his mouth, but he did what he was supposed to do. I told you Obama's the last president. So if you think that he's not somewhere running all of this behind in the shadows, you're stupid, and I don't care how you feel. Trump did exactly what he was supposed to do. Stir up trouble, be loud, and cause confusion and division. That was his job, and he did it well. That man's not stupid. He caused confusion and division because that was his job, to help bring this country down. He's married to a Russian order bride. I don't care. Serbia, Slovenia, wherever she's from. A hooker who whored her way into the White House. Came from out of the USSR. There's no telling what kind of abuse she went through as a child, as a poor girl in Slovenia. She said, I'm not going to keep being hungry. And she came over here and got naked and found her a rich husband. And I mean, if you sin, you're going to hell. But my thing is, if you're going to go to hell for sin, you might as well at least try to enjoy the life you have on earth. Because at least God can forgive you, you can repent, and you can stop. And then when you stop sinning, you should have something. Who was the okay. They say Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. First of all, that's a lie. She was a wealthy woman, a businesswoman, and that whole idea of her being a prostitute is a Catholic lie. Whoever the woman was that was caught in adultery, I'm sure she was getting some coins. So when she repented, she was able to finance the kingdom. So if you're going to be a sinner, get you some coins. So that when you're done sinning and you repent, you can have some money to finance the kingdom. So I'm not too mad at Melania, to be honest with you. Because she whored her way into the White House. I've done plenty of whoring. I don't have my own nothing. I know a whole bunch of y'all has been whores too. And you don't got much of nothing. You sure can't say that you was the first lady of the United States of America. You can't say that your husband's a billionaire and that if he divorced you, you're going to get all that money. You can't say that, but she can say that. Because she said, I'm not going to stay over here in the Soviet Union and be poor. They said you can't turn a whore into a housewife. The devil is a liar because she slayed that. I don't care about how do you. They already got us on kill lists. They already got us on kill lists. It don't even matter. There's a lot more I could say that I'm not. Names I could name and I'm not. They already got us on kill lists. I'm a dead man walking, so it doesn't matter. Spies. The people who you elect to office. Now, I learned something, I thought Joe Biden was really losing his mind, and I felt bad for him. I felt bad for him because I thought, this is a shame, y'all. This is abuse that you letting this man get on TV. But no, they're just letting him look stupid so when they remove him, they can have an excuse. I'm not going to tell you all the details. I told y'all to go to The Master's Voice. Go to the website. Go to the YouTube channel, The Master's Voice, with your host, Celestial. Some things God has told me, and I say, oh, it's confirmation, and then sometimes I learn some things. I'm saying, wow, okay, so maybe he is a little off, but they're letting us see it. Because they could edit that. They don't have to show that. Even if the media has the footage, it can be told, don't show that. Because they lie to us and hide information from us all the time, claiming they don't want us to panic. That's BS. They want to control our lives. They want to destroy us. It's not because they don't give a damn about us. It's not that they don't want us to panic. They don't want us to panic and come to their houses and burn them down. They don't want to face God. They don't want to die. They want to steal our money and control our lives in this world. They don't care about you. So they allowed us to see him losing his mind. And it's sad. Because it's embarrassing. And that same woman who lied and let those black men go to death row where she had information, knowing that they was innocent, that same woman that y'all voted for will be president. And she will be taking orders from Barack Obama. Because they all do. Communists. See, y'all like personality. You go by how somebody look. You go by their personality. They don't mean nothing to me because I went to school for performing arts. And I know how people put on acts every day. They put on an act. I've seen it all of my life. I've sat back and watched. I told you my silence is more dangerous than my talking. I know what it is to be a child in the home and parents think I'm asleep. I know what it is to be in the building in the back steps and I'm like, oh, they don't hear me. They don't know I'm up here smoking this cigarette. Oh, somebody up there smoking. So then I run. Go the other way. Down the front of the steps quietly. Or out the back door, over the gate, or whatever. You would never. Go knock on somebody's door. Hey, Christine, I just came to visit. Girl, I'm coming in here because I just slipped out the back steps. I'm so glad you came to the door quick. You just so happened to be in the kitchen. They trying to figure out who that was. You will never. And God literally tells me things, and God literally shows me things in dreams and visions. I know what it is to get out of my body and walk around in my spirit body while my family is sleeping. I'm in elementary school, walking in my spiritual body, walking through doors, looking at the traffic outside saying, okay, how did my face go through the wall? Jesus put me back in my body. But see, because you don't have those kind of spiritual gifts, you choose not to believe because you're jealous. You choose not to believe that it's possible because you're a hater. I've been warning you since 2009, and here we are, 2021, and this idiot gets on TV and opens his mouth and says that the nuclear option is off the table. He needs to be fired immediately because the president said we will be doing sanctions, but we are not sending troops. So how dare he, as a senator, come on television and say something opposite of what the president have said? I don't care if they did say it in private in meetings. He should have kept it in private. It was not his place to open his mouth. But see, that's the same crap that Donald Trump does. Because they're trying to stir up drama. They're trying to stir up confusion. It's a known fact that Obama's parents, his mother and grandparents worked for the CIA. It's a known fact. That his adopted father in Indonesia worked for the CIA. It's a known fact that people in Russia were saying in the 80s that you're going to have a black president named Barack, and he's one of us. It's a known fact that he said out of his mouth in his book. He wrote a book. Someone else wrote a book about him. There was two different books. It says specifically in the book, which was allowed to be printed, that he's a student of Marxism. And people were impressed with how much he understood the core doctrines of Marxism. Karl Marx is the person who created Marxism, which we call communism. Socialism is a light form of communism where you're allowed to have religion. Communism, you're not allowed to have religion. Socialism, you can have religion. That's basically the only difference. And they called it Marxism after Karl Marx. So this is something he's confessed. This is something that's in a book, but when people say it, you get mad because you like that he's how he look. I like when where was he singing? Since we've been together. I said, oh, he can sing a little bit. I thought that was cute. I really love when he came on Ellen and did his little dance. I thought that was so adorable. He came to visit where my grandmother worked. She felt so special because he came to come visit where she worked. I thought all of that was just so wonderful. The way he looks, the way he dresses, it's a good role model. They remind me so much of the Cosbys because he taught constitutional law. It was a politician. And then, the wife, Michelle, she's a lawyer. I mean, they were giving us the real life Cosbys. It was like a dream come true. I thought it was wonderful. I smoked my weed and marched down 14th Street to celebrate after voting. And I heard God say, this is worship. Mind you, I asked God who to vote for. Literally, I opened my mouth and said it because I was so confused at that point. I just was desperate. And I did not believe that God was going to say anything. I just wanted to say that I asked. I just wanted to be able to, because I didn't want somebody to say I was voting because he was black. So I wanted to be able to say, well, I prayed. And, I feel like the Lord was telling me. Like how y'all do? So I didn't expect God to say nothing. I just wanted to have an excuse. And I didn't want it to be a lie. I wanted it to be the truth. I wanted to be able to honestly say, oh, I voted for him because I prayed about it and, I felt in my spirit. But God did not give me that opportunity because when I prayed and opened my mouth, he audibly spoke to me and said, he's going to win anyway. With that tone of voice, and I was upset because he answered, but he sounded disappointed. And I'm thinking, if you're God, first, why are you talking in this disappointed tone of voice? But then you're telling me he's going to win. If you disappointed or you don't like that, then why don't you stop it? The answer is because what you bind on earth, I will bind in heaven. And what you loose on earth, I will loose in heaven. When he ran for senator, he ran against a black person who had a wife and a family. His wife is like Indian or something. Who didn't support gay marriage and abortion and all of that. But y'all didn't choose him in Chicago. So what you loose on earth shall be loosed on heaven. Because God has given us power to rebuke. So that's why he didn't do nothing, because we're supposed to do something. So he said he's going to win anyway. Sounded very disappointed. I said, well, I'm voting for him then because I'm tired of voting for people that lose. The Democrats was losing. I got tired of voting for Democrats and them losing. I voted for Al Gore and he lost. I was like, I'm not voting no more. But my aunt's a politician, so I had to keep voting. And I said, but he black, I'm voting. That's what I said to God. Because I'm like, you sounding disappointed, but you telling me he going to win. And I was happy and I celebrated. They came on my actual street where I live, a block down, and set up these big old, they set up these big, like how when you have the Macy's Day Parade and all that kind of stuff. But they set it up right on my little old street down the, 1 block away. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. They had music playing through the city. And all of these people, all these white people start marching on foot down the middle of 14th Street in the street. The police did not stop traffic. Traffic had no choice but to detour because there was such a big crowd of people who literally marched down 14th Street, and I went and marched right with them. Got all the way to the White House gates, and there was this man with this big, beautiful black rifle. That thing looked powerful, and he had on all black. I'm trying to figure out why his face looked scared. I will never forget that when I walked up to him, his face, he kind of had a shocked, scared look in his eyes once the people in front of me moved, and I could see his face, and he could see my face. He had this, shocked look, and I'm looking like, man, you got this big old gun, and all this, all black everything. All kinds of equipment and shields and bodyguards and all, the bulletproof vests and everything was just very modern and black. I said, okay, let me step on back. They're not playing tonight. And we chanted and we teased George Bush, nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. We teased him. I had so much fun teasing and taunting George Bush. I was the white people had champagne. I was mad. I was like, okay, I came with the wrong people. Because they had champagne. And the weed they had was better than our weed. And I celebrated. And then I heard literally a voice out of the sky say, "This is worship." And it began to thunder and it began to rain. So again, no, you can't tell me nothing. Because I know what it is I experience. You can think I'm crazy. You will answer to God for that. You can think I'm lying. You will answer to God for that. Because I know what he said, and I know what I experienced, and I have warned you all for 10 years, and here the hell we are. So I'm in Washington, D.C. as we speak, waiting to die any minute, expecting to be dead any day now because of idiots in our government who don't give a damn about us, and because people in our churches who just want to think everything is okay. You want to just get up, go to work, come home. You want to just keep thinking everything is okay, and it's not okay. I leave you with the words of my grandmother, Louise B. Thomas. It's going to get worse before it gets better.